And we're on. Hey, everybody. This is Ken with Ciro. I'm here with Darren today. We're a couple of the designers here at Ciro. And we're going to talk to you a little bit today about some new product we have for seating. But we're going to start out with a little bit of history. In 2020, we started working with Adam Sandoval, who is one of the greatest long distance riders really on that's been out there in the motorcycle industry. And we worked with him to develop the ASR seat for your 2009 to 2023, road glide, street glide, touring bikes, and it's been really successful. And Adam has run tens of thousands of miles on this seat, and a lot of customers have too, with great success. So this has been tried and true and tested. With the advent of the new bikes in 23.5 with the CVO that came out that had different frame, a little different mounting and stuff, this seat, of course, wouldn't fit anymore. So we had to develop a new seat. And Adam approached us and talked with Darren here about what he liked about the seat, what we could possibly improve on a new, since it's a new chassis. And so we did just that. And Darren had worked with Adam, I said, quite a bit with all of his experience on riding this seat and then testing the new seat out. So let's don't take my word for it. Let's get into we got a little video to show you from a little while back when Adam was right here in studio talking about the seat. And so
Well, looking great and being comfortable are two super important things for your motorcycle, and often they don't always go together. You'll have an engineer in the office designing something to look great, but then when you get it on your bike, you realize maybe they didn't spend enough saddle time on it, which is why I spent over 30 days straight riding this seat before we approved it for production. And let me tell you, it is ready. Absolutely. Wanted to keep the same shape, wanted to keep the recessed center line that relieves that pressure off your tailbone. That was super important to me out there on the road. But then I really wanted to have kind of a molded look. The last one had a really cool perforated look. I wanted this one to look more molded while keeping some of the same features like that recessed tailbone I just talked about and the thin through the front of the thighs so that you can get better reach on the ground when you're in those awkward parking lots or gravel roads. I couldn't have asked you to do a better job at stitch placement, tuck placement, just the whole way, widening this nose. I think that was a nice addition.
Making something look sporty and fast and comfortable. They seem like a contradiction, but I think we got it.
You 100% got it, man. It looks so good. And the fact that that center seam carries through to the back. And another thing I really wanted to keep was this low lumbar support, right? That's a big deal. So it's like a step-up seat, but it's still a two-part seat. I think the most important things to me on this seat, if I was gonna break it down in just a couple things, is one, having a gel seat. You know, a lot of these seats, you walk into a factory and you push on the seat and it feels oh so soft. And that is really great for selling a bike. You're like, oh, that's gonna be super comfortable. But as you start to put down real miles, the fact is that that soft material allows the vibration and allows the pan of that seat to start coming up into your body, and you really start to feel it. That's where you start to get those hot spots and you start to get uncomfortable and you're constantly moving, trying to find the right position. So just because you push on a seat and it's soft doesn't mean it's a good seat. It's like a mattress. You want it to push back on you and keep you up off of that bike and separate you from that motorcycle. And when you get the gel, that is what does it well, but when you feel it, it feels a little bit hard. And so what we did here is we added one layer of foam above the gel so that it's still cushioned to the touch. Like you can feel it, it's super plush and feels nice and looks puffy and full. But underneath it, you've got that gel, which is really the key factor to keeping that long distance ride comfortable. I'm super excited about it. I don't think there's a better partnership out there to design a seat that's gonna work for riders who want to put on some real miles and still look good.
So as you can see, Adam really knows what he was talking about. We worked very, very closely with him. Darren did, and it all accumulates in this, our new Sandoval seat. Beautiful seat, like you said, it's steel base. And one of the things I'll add in too before I hand it over to Darren to tell you a little bit more about the little details. As a steel base, this is a rock solid seat. It's a pretty heavy duty seat designed for long distance riding and to look great. But the idea with have a steel base and have it be so rock solid and have many multi layers, which Darren will get into in a minute. Part of it is it takes that vibration away because you always have vibration in the bike, and that creates the hot spots that Adam was talking about. So with that, Darren, why don't you show everybody a little more detail about the seats right over here.
Thanks, Ken. Everything Adam said about this seat is absolutely true. That video really does a good job of outlining exactly what we wanted to do here. You can see the multi-layered construction. On the top, we have a pink cushion layer that gives you a nice, soft initial feel. Um, but beyond that, we have a yellow foam layer that gives you a little bit nice ride support. Below that, you can see the gel. This is really the heart of the seat. This is what gives you the long-term comfort as you're on the highway, sitting for many hours in really one position. That's what really supports your body weight and isolates you from the vibrations of the motorcycle. The blue foam you see is really what makes up the main structure of the seat. And it is also almost a gel-like foam. It isn't gel, but has a gel-like feel to it. So building the seat up in this way really gives us the best of all different worlds. Immediate comfort and long-term comfort, or long ride comfort. Um, the ASR seat we did a few years ago was really a great design, had some of these same features in it. We took that and we expanded upon it. We made the seat more comfortable for those short, quick rides and more comfortable for long rides. One of the areas where we wanted to add to the Sandoval Seat family was in the pillions. We wanted them to be a little bit more comfortable. We wanted them to also have a couple of options for different passengers. We have This pillion is very similar to the ASR pillion we had in the past. It's narrow, it's sleek, it's really cool looking. It's also very comfortable, but it's not a big seat. So we decided to come out with a new part number that is a larger pillion seat. It's a little bit wider, it's a little bit thicker, it's going to be better for those long distance rides. The driver backrest, we had one before with the ASR seat. We've done that again with the Sandoval seat. It plugs directly into the solo seat without any additional brackets. And like Ken mentioned, that steel structure on the bottom of the seat, that's what gives us the strength and the durability to run a backrest without any additional bracketry underneath the seat. So really a cool design, gives you kind of the best of both worlds. In addition to the rider backrest, we had a lot of customers asking for a passenger backrest pad. So we've added that to the line. So with these 5 pieces, you can really build a custom seat for your application. What do you like? You like the backrest. Your passenger may want a slightly larger seat, maybe a smaller seat, maybe both seats, and you can switch them. So it's really an adaptable system that gives you a lot of different options.
You know, one thing I might add too to this is when you have the solo seat like we have on the bike here as we started this video, um, these pillions come off fairly easily.
Yeah, you
You know,
can
it's
take
one
the
screw, so you have that. You can still have that solo seat, really hot rod racing bike look. I know that's what I like to do on mine. It's just I like to run just the solo seat,
Mhm.
and then when we're ready to go for a ride with my wife, we'll throw the seat on. Now to be able to have the 2 different sizes, that's a game changer
Yeah, the
because now you
solo seat comes on and off the bike in 2 minutes.
yeah.
It's very, very
So
easy.
to replace that pillion's very quick. So, you know, again, you can just put it on, take it off when you don't want it on there,
Mhm.
and kind of gives you a 2-into-1 shot there.
And to clarify, the passenger backrest pad works with Harley-Davidson's docking backrest. We did that because that's the one we see out there.
Mhm.
That's what most customers seem to have, and this works really well with that.
So it mounts directly in, which is
Yes.
fantastic.
Yep.
So you'll just remove your passenger seat. I can just show you right here. Actually, we
Yeah.
can
There you
look
go.
right there. There's 3 holes in the back. You know, it's very simple, and that just you simply take your stock pad off, replace it with this one. Simple. So with that, that's it. You know, we've got this whole new bike. So it was a start from scratch moment. We took what we learned, of course, from the last seat that we had made, but we've decided that hey, you know, a new bike, whole new style. Um, it has style cues from the other seat, but it's radically different at the same time. And Adam had used this. You know, there was a lot of testing that was done on this bike on the road, you know, to make changes. Oh, that we don't like this. Can we change that a little bit? Can we change this a little bit? And Adam was instrumental in making that happen.
Yeah, and one of the things we heard from customers who were using and really loving the ASR seat was that they just wanted a little bit more height in the seat, just a little bit thicker, a little bit more comfortable. So we were hearing that from customers. We also heard that from Adam.
Mhm.
He felt the same way. So there was a lot of things that kind of came together um, to develop this seat. Um, and one of the big questions we always get from customers when they're looking at this seat, and maybe they haven't seen one in person, is the seating position. We're not radically changing the seating position from the factory seat, but you can see in the images, it does sit you just a little bit higher and a little bit further back than the stock seat. That gives you just a little bit more leg room. It's not going to radically change it if you're not the tallest person in the
Mhm.
world. You're going to be fine. But if you do have a longer inseam, you have a little bit more space.
And it gives you a little bit more space to move around too.
Yes.
To is on the longer rides. You don't want to just be planted on. I think we've all been on a bike that maybe was a little bit too small for
Hmm.
us. When you're kind of scrunched in there and there's just
Right.
nowhere you can go, and you end up standing up half the time. That's terrible. You don't want that. This
Mhm.
seat addresses that with the thickness and the depth that it has, with the also the lumbar support in the back to keep that lower back support.
Yeah, the lower lumbar support really helps you on those long rides. And then again, if you choose to use the backrest, you really have something you can lean back against and get as relaxed as you really can when riding your motorcycle.
Exactly. I mean, some of us old guys need that back support. I know I had to put a windshield on my bike because my back would hurt when I was riding it. What's that all about? So now we've got a
Sounds
bike with a
familiar.
fairing. We've got some lumbar support. Now it's an all-day riding seat. So with that and the extra layers and things like that too, with not just the layers on the inside, but the outside's layered as well. As you can see in some of these layers here, all of this, when you have these extra seams and things like that, this allows airflow to come in and out. And it gives you a little bit of something so as you're moving around, it's almost like a massage that the parts give you, but nothing gets into you where it's going to be an annoyance
Yeah.
or cutting off circulation
Like
or anything.
Adam mentioned in his video, the lowered section in the center of the seat, relieving pressure on your tailbone is really critical. And that's something he learned. I mean, we all kind of learn that the hard way. You get out and you ride and you realize, especially as you get a little bit older, you need that extra design in your seat will really make your enjoyment go up.
If you haven't looked at some of Adam's videos and what he's done in the past, he's done the Great American Convoy for one. He went 27,000 miles in one run,
Right.
over the course of 2.5 months or so. I had the chance to ride along with him for about 900 miles with about 300 or 400 other guys. It was great. Faith, one of our sales gals here, rode with us too. I decided to take my bike, my cool bar bike, on that, which was a huge mistake because I didn't have this seat, and I was sore about an hour in for the next 900 miles. It was terrible. But this right here solves those problems. I know that the stock seats on most of, like, especially in street glides, I've always noticed the stock seats, if I'm riding very long, it starts to cut my circulation off of my legs, around the thighs, and it starts making it fall asleep. This seat and the previous ASR seat as well relieve that completely, just
Mhm.
because of the way that it's shaped, the foam inside, and the way it texture or the way it molds to your legs. Especially after you ride it for a while, it takes a set to your specific body type and shape, and it's fantastic. So,
Yeah, and that was really the goal from the very beginning of working with Adam was he wanted a cool custom seat,
mhm.
number one, but it also had to be comfortable. And getting those two things combined is really the puzzle that we believe we've put together with this seat. It looks great, but it's also comfortable long term or on those long rides.
And with that too, I'll point a note here. Point of order. Anyone has any questions during this, just jump in the comments section. Just ask a question. We've got somebody here that's helping us with it. She'll shoot us the questions as they come in, and we're happy to answer as you go along. But with that, so what are we fitting here? Well, let's talk about the new bikes and what they
Yeah.
work best on.
Um, this seat fits the 23.5 and newer street glides and road glides. So the new touring chassis that came out with the CVO in 23.5
Hmm.
and then extended across the touring bike line like this bike here. Um, the solo seat, you can use it obviously just as a solo seat like this. It looks great. You can put the backrest into here and have a solo seat with a backrest. You can run it with the solo seat and the pillion and no backrest. You can run the large pillion or the small pillion. You can do all these different combinations, which really gives our customers a lot of
Hmm.
choice. Um, And we believe that's kind of the best combination of seating options that we could put together into one seat.
Exactly, because you know that you always get that question. Well, I want to try it. I want to try the seat and see what it's like and things like that. And that's where we did so much testing so that we can tell you with confidence what the seat's going to be for and what it's not for. You know, this is a great all around seat, but it's for long distance. It's fantastic. And what some of the things that we learned on the ASR seat was, yes, the pillions need to have a little bit of a different shape, a little bit bigger for longer distance riding for your passenger. And so that's why we have the two different ones, because a lot of people loved the ASR, the more narrow pillion in back, because it did flare out. I mean, I've got one right here. You know, as you can see, it's a small seat, but it flares out up here, and this has a lot of cushion and stuff. So if you have a 2009 to 2023 Street Glide, Road Glide, these are still great seats with fantastic pillions. So I'm not trying to take away from that, but starting fresh with the new one, we were able to take it to kind of the next level. Question?
We have a question that says, how is the lumbar support?
Well, how is it? It's roughly 4.5 inches up, so it comes up kind of to the base of your spine. That you can kind of lean into it a little bit, and it allows you to kind of roll your hips a little bit and relieve pressure. Um, it varies a little bit with the backrest, because the backrest comes up, and you can kind of lean into that with your lower back or almost kidney area, and supports that part of your back. It depends a little bit on the size of the person. Some people are going to feel a little bit different on it than others, but because it has an adjustable backrest and lumbar in here, we've found it really comfortable for a lot of different body sizes.
And on that, we had made quite a few adjustments as the seat was being developed in that area, directed, you know, purely by Adam's experience of riding it literally thousands of miles and saying, hey, you know what, we could use a little bit some more support right here, or this is just perfect.
Well,
let's keep that.
Because again, Adam does these rides, you know, he originally started out as a solo rider, but now when he goes, he's with hundreds of other riders. A lot of these guys and gals have the ASR seat and love it. But again, different sizes, different shapes. What are people asking for? What do people like about it? What would people want improved? So we're just always on that quest to make something better. You start with a great seat, and then you kind of take it to the next level. And that's really what we tried to achieve with this seat.
Yes, we have a question.
Someone would like to see the seat pan up close.
See the seat pan up
Sure.
close. We can make that happen. Here, if you want to describe it, I'll be your Vanna White here. So, is that focusing in there, Mark? There you go.
Yeah, earlier I mentioned that it had a steel. This is actually the support structure that supports the backrest. If you look down here, you can see these tabs are, you know, steel powder coated tabs that support where the pillion locks in. At the front, if Ken can rotate that, there's a steel panel or steel plate that goes around the tab at the front of the seat.
So it slides in here and then it hooks down, and you've got two bolts in the back, and it comes with all the hardware you need right here. And you fasten those down, you just tighten them down, and then the seats.
Pillion slides in the back with kind of fork-shaped pieces, and you tighten it down with two nuts.
So did that answer your question, or you want to see a little bit closer up? Is that does that work for you? Hopefully that has answered your question. Super. Well, that's great. So there's a little close up at the top too. You might as well show that as long as we're here. I'll try to get a. It's beautiful leather. I mean, the stitch quality and everything is just fantastic on these. We've got another question. Yes.
What is the weight of the seat and pillion?
Weight of the seat and pillion.
I don't know what it weighs. I'm not really sure.
We do have.
I bet you it's probably, we could find out. Yeah.
Can you ramble on for a moment and I'll go find out?
I can.
We can do that.
Here.
I need the seat and the pillion. There you go.
We'll give you the big one.
I'll give me the big one. We can. I'll go weigh these. That's a great question. Thank you.
I'm going to guess it's a little bit heavier than the stock seat because of the steel reinforcement, but I don't know the exact weight. The ASR seat was also a perforated design, which gave it some breathability, and people really like that. With this seat, we actually went away from that. We found a new vinyl material that's very durable and just had such a clean, cool look to it that we felt like it was time to move away from the perforated. So that is one change we made. The solo seat has a a cover over the backrest slot. Just gives it a nice clean look. What'd you find out, Ken?
Well, I had to go back into the test lab back there, but this one weighs about, the seat itself weighs about 9.5 pounds, and the large pillion's about 4.1, so about 4.25 pounds, just give or take. So all in all, you're 13, 14 pounds,
13
somewhere in,
something
yep.
more. Okay.
So that's what you got for the weight. For the, like I said, this is 9.5 pounds. So this is gonna
It's
smooth out vibration like you wouldn't believe. It's really amazing.
yeah, it's a very stout seat. There's no doubt
Hmm.
about it.
Very cool. So sorry to interrupt you.
It's all right. Thank you.
Any other questions out there? Yes, we've got
Go
one.
ahead.
So they're asking, I'm sitting farther back in the seat now. How is it for like a shorter rider?
It doesn't really move you back dramatically. It's roughly an inch um, from our calculation. If you look at the dimensions on the screen, um, it does move you back a little bit, but the lumbar is also higher than the stock seat. So the seating position is very similar, just slightly altered. If your seating position is good on the stock seat, it's going to be good on this. We just mentioned that it is slightly different. It's a little bit higher and it's just a little bit further back, but
I,
very subtle difference.
I can answer a little bit of that. Let me jump on the bike here once and show you. So if I'm sitting on here, what you'll find is if you're a shorter rider, the only part you're going to have is you might adjust your bars back just slightly. I mean, we've got uh, people that work here that we've ridden and developed this with. And Adam's what, 6'2", 6 somewhere in there. He's a pretty tall
Adam's
guy.
pretty tall.
But we've got guys here that are 5'5", 5'6". All the way up to 6'4", 6'5". So when we're developing these seats, we're making sure that because your handlebar reach is where you're going to notice a different pullback. Your controls and stuff like that, those end up being about the same
Yeah.
from where you end up being.
All the
But
bikes that this fit or that this seat is used on, they all have floorboards. Um, Most people run some type of highway peg,
Mhm.
preferably our frame-mounted highway pegs, of
Yep.
course, and those are adjustable. So you can get, if the seat change, if moving you back an inch is something that concerns you, there's adjustability elsewhere on the motorcycle that you could compensate it for,
Exactly. But
compensate for that change. But it is a subtle difference.
so that slight move back, it's just you might have to adjust your bars a little bit, but bars are adjustable for that very reason.
Right. It's same with highway pegs.
Exactly. Yes. Another question.
Where your legs kind of sit on the seat, is that does that limit, or is that area bigger or smaller than the stock seat?
So the question is this area in the middle here, where your legs cross over the seat, is it bigger or smaller? So I'll let you.
Our seat at the very nose is a little bit wider and a little bit thicker than the original ASR seat. But where your legs come down at the front of the seat, it's as narrow or more narrow than the stock seat. It's very, very close to what the stock seat is, maybe a little bit narrower.
But the beauty of it is because of the different layers that Darren had talked about earlier, um, you're not getting the same amount of pressure on your legs right there
Right.
on this seat as you are on the stock seat, and that prevents that. Like I said, when your legs fall asleep, your toes go numb,
Right.
that kind of thing. It
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
happen.
also very, very soft through here, so that helps as well.
Exactly. So that's just a little bit of the seat for a lot of the information about it. Fitment, all of these graphics that you've seen on here. If you have questions about them, they're all on our website, Ciro3D.com.
Yep.
You can go there and check out. Just type in Sandoval, the seat will come up. If you have one of the earlier style bikes, the ASR seats, when you want to look for this one is the Sandoval seat. So that just tells you a little bit of the difference between the two of them. We highly recommend both. Like I said, we've been working with Adam on the just seating for 5 years. We've got, of course, other Sandoval components too. So I, recommend and encourage everybody to look through the whole line of Sandoval products that we do have, because each one of them was painstakingly created with Adam's input. So whether it's the highway pegs, the seat, the new El Sandoval bag, which is a great addition to the seat because these were all developed at the same time. So they blend together and they look great together. So with that, any other questions out there? If anyone has anything else, go ahead and type them in quick before we call it a wrap. But if not, thanks so much for being here. And again, go to Ciro3D.com and check out our full line of motorcycle products. especially the Sandoval line.
Yeah, thanks, Ken. We're really excited about this seat. We think it looks really cool. Initial feedback is excellent. Everyone we've sold, they're just really excited about it.
Mhm.
It's been great at the rallies.
Yeah.
Adam's been doing really well with it. He loves his,
Hmm.
as he should,
Yep.
because it is his seat after all. But we're really excited to represent the seat and represent Adam with this project. And yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ken.
So with that, thanks you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.